One of the arguments I hear against God often is, how can a just and loving God allow such suffering in the world? And when I was an atheist, used to have this belief that God can exist because there is such intense suffering in the world. Now, God does not simply just allow suffering to happen. He is with us every step of the way. And I've learned through my own trials that my suffering has produced the greatest spiritual growth in my life. Now, God's gifts are not material always, though they often can be. The foundational gifts and blessings that He gives are spiritual maturity. And when we are lost and we are coming back into faith or coming into faith, that growth has to happen by trials. And there are scriptures that speak directly to God operating as a refiner of silver. Malachi 3:3 says, He will sit as a purifier and refiner of silver. He will purify. He will refine them like gold and silver. And the process for refinement of gold and silver is to burn impurities. So you apply an intense amount of heat to gold and silver to burn out the impurities. But you have to watch it very carefully so that you don't overheat it and destroy it. And the way the silversmith or goldsmith knows that it's finished, that it's ready, is that he or she can see the reflection in the metal. So once God can see His reflection in you, you're ready. And that is such a great metaphor for how it's played out in my life. I went through intense trials. I've gone through intense trauma throughout my entire life since I was a child. But when I was an adult and I was caught up in the consequences of all my decisions as a lost person, the trials that happened ultimately proved, once God revealed Himself to me, those trials proved to be the key to unlocking who I truly am, to burn away all of the old dysfunctional parts of my spirit: anger, vengeance, lying. The incredible transformation came in the midst of the fire. Proverbs 66 also speaks to this. Zechariah 13. Trials, tribulations, suffering is a part of how God gets rid of everything that does not work for us. It's how He draws us closer to Him. Now, of course, there is suffering in the world that is intense. And that is not of God. There is a great amount of suffering in this world that is from Satan. And in those moments, God is still with us, ready to support us as long as we are open to Him. His heart breaks for us. And the proof of this is Jesus Christ, God in the flesh, came down to suffer the greatest suffering and death that a human can experience in His crucifixion. He was also mocked and betrayed by friends and His community. He experienced the worst of the worst. And he did so with love and forgiveness in his heart in order to provide salvation for all of us. Our God knows what suffering is. He mourns with us. The ultimate gift of our faith is to join him in heaven. When you are struggling, when you are going through trials, when you feel the negativity in your heart being challenged by the trials that you are in, let go of them. Surrender to God's will. We are meant to be transformed so that God can see his image in us. It took me a little while to get here, but when I first got saved, I was still asking for consequences for those who were trying to do me real significant harm. I was still praying for consequences. I was praying for God's wrath upon them. I eventually, through deep meditation and prayer and accountability and soul searching and listening to God's voice, coming to the understanding that forgiveness was the way. Forgiving and praying for my enemies, for the people that were seeking to do me harm. That was one of the first real big breakthroughs, and there have been many since then. But if you're going through trials right now, lean all the way into God. Surrender, submit. Continue to let go of the fleshly and worldly impulses that keep us stuck in those trials. Amen.